Hello everyone, and welcome to the Courage or Frights, where we talk about movies and games, especially those dealing with the horror, sci-fi, and action genres. And today I'll be taking a look at Amazon Prime's The Tomorrow War. The Tomorrow War is a 2021 sci-fi action film directed by Chris McKay and stars Chris Pratt, Ivona Strahovski, and J.K. Simmons. Dan Forrester, played by Chris Pratt, is a former Green Beret turned high school biology teacher who is struggling to find his purpose in life and becomes increasingly disillusioned with his mundane existence. Though he loves his wife and daughter, he longs to do more with his life and becomes further depressed after failing to get a job at a prestigious research institute. While watching a World Cup game with his family, suddenly a temporal distortion occurs and a number of armed soldiers storm onto the field. It turns out they have come from our future, the year 2051, and that the planet is in crisis. An unknown alien predatory creature referred to as the White Spikes suddenly appeared one day and overwhelmed humanity. The survivors are locked in a desperate battle for survival, one which seems more and more hopeless with each passing day. With the population of the planet dwindling fast, the scientists of our future put all of their hopes into a device known as the Jump Link, a wormhole that opens a portal to the past which allows the soldiers to come through and warn us about our fate. Although able to send people back and forth through time, the location and time points are fixed and cannot be altered. Initially, they recruit personnel from the world's militaries to go through the Jump Link to bolster the future troop numbers for 1-week tours of duty. However, as only 30% make it back, and as the war effort becomes increasingly desperate, a worldwide draft is initiated, and Dan is among those enlisted. While weighing his options, he visits his estranged father, a mechanical engineer played by J.K. Simmons. Though they are unable to make amends, and he resigns himself to his fate to fight in a war against an unseen enemy. The bonds he makes in this future war will change him in ways he could never possibly imagine, as he discovers more about himself, while also fighting for the fate of the future of the human race. While the family moments, both past and future, are the heart of the film, the Tomorrow War's obvious draw is the futuristic combat sequences with the alien menace, and as a creature feature, I'd say it definitely delivers. The White Spikes, as they are called, have a very interesting and unique design that was apparently inspired by creatures from the Alien and Hellraiser franchises, and are easily one of the coolest aspects of the film, alongside the solid action sequences. The supporting cast all does a great job, but as one would expect, most of the focus is on Chris Pratt, and if you liked him in his other films, especially the Jurassic World franchise, you'll probably like him in this as well. This is a movie that feels like it's from the 80s or 90s, and I absolutely mean that as a compliment. It draws heavily from the sci-fi action films of James Cameron, especially Aliens and Terminator, along with the summer blockbuster fun of a film like Independence Day. Despite taking elements from so many films, it manages to craft them into a new and unique property that makes for a fantastic action film. Perhaps the best comparison to a recent film that can be made is to the Tom Cruise Emily Blunt film Edge of Tomorrow, aka Live, Die, Repeat, which I also love for many of the same reasons. Both involve a seemingly hopeless war with an alien threat and time travel, though I'd argue that there are enough differences to keep them both distinctive. But I will say that if you enjoyed one, you are likely to like the other as well. Shortly before the recording of this video, it was announced on Deadline that a sequel has been greenlit, with most of the original cast and crew set to return. Tomorrow War was made by Skydance for Paramount Pictures and initially slated for a summer 2020 release, which of course was delayed due to the pandemic until it was eventually purchased by Amazon for $200 million. Deadline article states that both Amazon and Paramount are set to be involved with the sequel's release, so I wonder if that means that it'll be getting a theatrical release, as was the original plan for this film. As much fun as I had with this film, it definitely deserved to be seen in theaters, so I'm hoping that's the plan for the sequel. As for the plot, Deadline article doesn't really go into any specifics, and I honestly have no idea where this story would go, as it feels like a very satisfying conclusion to a one-and-done storyline. Though with all the concepts introduced, such as time travel and aliens, there's always room for multiple avenues for the writers to go down. I'm aware that this is a divisive film for many, but as you can tell from this review, I would highly recommend The Tomorrow War to anyone who's a fan of Chris Pratt and sci-fi action films, especially those from the 80s and 90s. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this in the future. Our focus is primarily sci-fi and horror, but we cover all sorts of topics and also talk about movie and gaming news every week on the Courage or Frights podcast. We have lots of plans to expand the channel in the next few weeks and months, so stay tuned for all of that. And if you saw the Tomorrow War, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.